I hear the Tautolog limit bell in the background somewhere. I'm sure it's ringing.
It was telling you to make your point.
Which one? Which point?
Thank you so much for checking out the video, you guys. Welcome to episode 3 of our semi-hollows build. We'll discuss the specs and all the things we did to get these guitars to this point after you guys see the montage footage. I got Gio on standby on a call. You ready, Gio?
I'm ready, and good morning. We should probably have a quick recap on the rules. So for anyone that didn't watch the intro video, we've got a couple of things that we have to do for this one. One of which is they need to be semi-hollows, and the other one, which was my rule, was that it needs to be double bound.
And then I said it has to be a set neck guitar and we have to use black hardware. We also both agreed that we'd use P90s for this guitar. So that's what we've done. I cannot tell you how much thought I have put into this build this time, and obstacles galore. You guys will see in just a minute. I love set necks, but they're absolutely more difficult. I'll just say that now. Don't you think so, Gio?
I do, and a few more added complications for you, but before we dive into that, I say we just cut and go straight to the montage because we've got quite a lot to talk about for these ones afterwards.
We do. Let's go. So we're going to show you guys some video of, you know how we do it. We're going to show you some video of us building the bodies for these guitars. Hope you enjoy the footage. See you guys in just a minute. All right, you guys, so we got bodies for these guitars. I am so excited to show you guys these things. I know Gio has created something so beautiful. I'm really proud of mine too. So Gio, let's have a look at your guitar. I'm really interested to see this thing, man. I'm excited about it.
Okay, I'll do a quick talk through it, and then perhaps we'll pop the necks in and have a look too. But I'll hold the body up first. So this is a European white ash single piece body and a black limba top, and I've used black pearl double binding.
Man,
so let's just see that.
That is so lovely. I can't wait to see that thing with finish on it.
It looks really, really good. I love your sound hole design and the shape. Although it's somewhat Telly-esque, the fact that it's offset and it's got that narrower upper horn, I really love that, man. That really, really drives that shape home. It balances the whole thing out. Sharp flash.
Thank you. Yeah, sharp flash. That is what it looks like. And the sound hole I'm really happy with. Well, we didn't even need a rule. We talked about the rules at the start, and neither of us actually needed the rule to put in there no F-holes, because there wasn't really much chance of either of us doing a traditional F-hole.
What kind of weight are you looking at on that thing? You had talked earlier about how heavy that European ash was. I just wondered, how much weight were you able to get off that thing by chambering that body?
I did talk about, and I was using this, I was saving this just to use on semi-hollows, and it was heavy. So when I just cut the white ash body out, it came in at just under 3 kilos. So that's how heavy it was just as a lump. And I've actually weighed.
Wow, that's a little over 7 pounds. Is that right? No, 6.6 pounds?
I'm reading my notes. It is 6.6 pounds. So after all of the weight relief and the routing, and in fact, I may as well quickly show this. That's my routing template. So I'd said to you right at the start, I've really got to take some material out of this because it is a lump.
You also mentioned on that rear area behind the bridge, you didn't know at the time if you were going to route that or not. Did you end up routing that cavity as well?
Yeah, I did route it out, which leaves the majority of the weight at the bottom where the controls are, which is great for the balance of the thing. But the whole thing now, including the neck, has come in at 2.5 kilos, which is 5.5 pounds. So
That's incredible.
that's it. It's taken off. I probably took maybe 45% of the weight of that out, I would say.
Yeah, so you're going to be below 8 pounds even after hardware, which is really, really good.
Yeah, that's a really good number to shoot for. I mean, I don't think either of us are particularly interested in making the lightest guitars in the world, but we're definitely interested in not making the heaviest.
Well, you know, last year's GGBO, as an example, the Cloud 9 guitar weighs right at 11 pounds. So it's heavy. I mean, I would hate to have to play that guitar on a gig all night. It is so heavy being solid Paduke, and I chambered the body, but I couldn't chamber it enough to get that weight down.
No, I know exactly what you mean, and I took away about as much as I thought I could get away with, and I left the sides of the guitar as thin as I thought I could get away with to still get a decent join and to be able to route to do the binding. But I'm quite happy with that. That's a pretty respectable weight, I think.
I absolutely agree, and it turned out so beautiful. That black limba was such a great choice to use in combination with that black binding. You're getting some really great contrast around the edge of that body. It's like you said, it's like framing a picture. It really looks awesome. I can't wait to see that thing with some finish on it.
Yeah, me too. And thank you. Why don't we have a look at it with the neck on? What do you think? And then we'll come and have a look at yours.
Yeah, let's see this thing with the neck in it. I'm probably going to be really jealous. I already am a little.
That makes two of us. I'm going to press this in.
Nice snug neck pocket, I see.
I might need to shave a tiny bit off. We'll see. We'll see. So
Oh, man.
I will do my best to show it to the camera. But the that hard contrast, the kind of black to white on the maple, now that I've got the ash body with the black binding, just all of a sudden looks really nice. I think it all comes together really well, even though it's a hard contrast. I love it, in fact.
That stacked heel that's looking really, really good.
I didn't say, did I? That's I ended up using a Vankol for the heel because I needed about an extra 10 mil on the bottom, so that's what I went with, something nice and dark. So it's kind of in the middle of the wenghe and the limba, but I think once I've carved that in very nicely, that should look really cool. Like you were saying, it's a really nice effect.
It is. I mean, you know, I've seen mainly Ty from Shock the Fox. He does a lot of that stacked heel look, and he stacks like, you know, 5, 6 different wood species together. So I think you're going to get a really good effect.
Well, I hope so. I'm kind of confident at this point, which is nice. The other thing that I've done is because I've got to take away a block out of my neck here, I've got the pickup literally butted up against, I think I've got like maybe 1.5 millimeters up against the end of the fretboard, but I think that you had, in sweet tea style, we should probably talk about yours now, because you decided to give yourself a bit more of a challenge.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why don't you take us through yours now, Todd?
All right, brother. So here's my guitar. This is the Astrolabe. I used white pearl binding, wenghe top, book match wenghe back. The way I've routed my neck pickup right there came from a problem that I created for myself by trying to figure out what I was going to do with the neck tenon. So I routed the neck pocket in this body before I did anything else. As I started measuring and figuring out where my scale length was going to be when I was trying to determine where these cavities were going to go, I realized I wasn't happy with the placement on it. So then that brought me to running this curly maple strip down the middle. I routed that and inlaid that maple into this wenghe top so I could reroute my neck pocket end. Now it ended up being a happy accident because that's what allowed me to do this curly maple strip down the middle, which I'm really liking. I think that turned out really awesome. Anyway, that's what happened on the neck pickup, you guys, and I'll slide the neck in just a minute. But I drilled the Astrolabe holes. I've got chambers all the way right here that I freehand routed. You guys saw that in the montage footage just a minute ago. I've got a chamber right here as well, and then I've routed that chamber so I can follow these Astrolabe holes, which is what I've chosen to use as my sound holes on all my semi-hollow guitars in the future. I used a 2-piece ash body, center jointed, as you can see right there. And this was my first binding project. And Gio, you were so helpful on this, brother. I really appreciate it, man. It was easier than I thought it would be.
So yes, did you also leave the binding slightly proud of the wood then on the top and the sides?
As far as leaving it proud, I did leave it about 0.3 millimeters proud on the top, and it ended up just a hair proud on the side. The combination of the heat gun, a sander, the acetone, and some binding tape, and it worked a champ. I don't have any gaps to speak of right here that I need to fill. It turned out really good. And I can't say, Gio, if you had not made this a rule for these guitars, I don't know that I would have used binding on this thing, but I'm so glad that I have, and now that's another skill that I can add to the arsenal here in the shop, because I can tell you after doing this guitar, I will absolutely be binding more of these in the future. It looks really good.
Awesome. I was going to ask you if I've sold you on binding now. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. I was almost sold after the fretboard thing. You know, I realized how many more interesting looks I'll be able to create by using binding in some fashion or another, whether it be on the fretboard or on the body or both. Anyway, I'm really happy with this thing, man. One thing I wanted to mention, I've cut my binding off right here at the tip of this point on the back and at the center of my neck heel rise back here. This being a slab-sided body, I did not want to have to be forced to leave this cutaway right here full thickness. So I want to bevel this down from the rear. I still want that nice clean bound look on the front, but for player comfort, I'm going to bevel this right here and ramp that down towards the cutaway so that I can thin this out a little bit and make that joint a little bit more comfortable, you know.
Well, that thing looks fantastic, and I love the shape as well. It's the first time I know it's an original shape that you've done, but it definitely fulfills the brief of a classic semi-hollow. But the sound holes are awesome, and I've got to admit I was slightly not sold on the maple until you showed me it with the neck. So maybe we should have a look at it with the neck on.
All right. So here it is with the neck in. And I wasn't really sold on the maple either. I was hoping that the fact that I've got a maple fretboard would tie this in and kind of give it that through neck look, you know. The maple strip solved some issues for me, you know. I don't know how else to put it. I could have worked this out by reshaping the fretboard and butting the fretboard straight up against the wenghe like it was before, but I just wasn't happy with where the scale length placement was at. So this was my solution for it, you know, to overcomplicate my life like I always do.
That's the sweet tea way.
It is.
Oh, do you know what we should do? I took a look at the picture of the back of your guitar, the back of that guitar. I would love to use as a top. It looks awesome. Do you want to just quickly turn it round for the camera so that we can see, because that is, I can't believe you've used that on the back.
Well, I should have used that as the top. The problem is, I'm glad I didn't at this point, because had I had the issues that I had with that as the top, I would have lost that killer book match thing that I got going on down the middle. It would have taken away some of the dramatic effect. Now, I know it's the back of the guitar, but it is killer.
Well, you now have the best looking guitar back in history anyway. But where are your controls going on the front? You haven't drilled those yet.
Once I get the bridge placed on here and I get the volume knob layout like it needs to be so I can reach it with my pinky, I'm going to follow that same arc that I used on these sound holes. We talked about that, and that's how I did the drawing, you know. I think it kind of helps the balance of it, you know.
It does totally, and I'm a sucker for symmetry, as you know, and that looked really nice, the layout that you did. Did you weigh yours?
I did. It weighs 4.2 pounds, and I think that ultimately translates into just under, what, 4 kilos? No, not even 4 kilos. Wait a minute. It's a little less than 2 kilos. Sorry, it's 4.2 pounds, so it's about 1.8 kilos. Just the body.
We're probably both going to come in at under 8 pounds.
Well, that's the goal. Yeah, I really love this thing, man. I'm really happy with how it turned out. We usually follow up the montage, and after we show you guys the guitars, we mention some builders that we want to support. This week, we've decided to do this a little bit differently, or in this episode, we've decided to do this slightly differently. Gio's got somebody he wants to talk about, and then we're going to talk back and forth about that a little bit before we wrap this thing up. So Gio, take it away, brother.
Yeah, I was going to mention Corey Muxlow from Soul Good Guitars, who is, well, he's made some really interesting stuff, and particularly for GGBO. And I remember last year he sent me the prototypes of the neck that he was going to be building for GGBO, which is, I'm probably wrong, but I think it's about 80 pieces that he's scarf jointed. to come up.
He is so phenomenal, man. He is such a killer creative builder.
I'll stop there because what I can't do is to accurately describe the neck that he's built. So you do need to go on and watch it, and we'll have the usual bits pop up on screen. But he is also the guy that does the admin, the Instagram for Guitar Builders Collective, and they're starting to do a live stream that has done a couple of episodes, and I think, am I right in saying that you're going to be joining the next one?
I will be a special guest on the Guitar Builders Collective live stream on August the 3rd.
Yes, so the Guitar Builders Collective are doing a weekly thing. They're doing a weekly live stream, and I think I'm right in saying it's going to be every Thursday, and it's hosted on Devil & Sons Guitars. So that's definitely one to watch and tune into. If you do the subscription thing, you'll be notified when that's happening. But there are, I think, Arran from Adair Guitars, Daniel from Devil & Sons, and Scott from Bonehead are, I think, the three people that are going to be on there every week, and then they'll have people joining as and when, just to chat about luthiery and guitar building.
That's right. If you guys have not joined the Guitar Builders Collective and you are an aspiring guitar builder or an established guitar builder, there's a website, guitarbuilderscollective.com. There's an app that you can download from the App Store. And then there is a YouTube channel for Guitar Builders Collective. But since Daniel is handling the admin, come check out the live stream at Guitar Builders Collective over on Devil & Sons YouTube channel.
Okay, well, I think that's everything for this episode, so thank you very much for watching. We both really appreciate all of the likes and the comments, and man, we get some really, really kind comments on these videos, so it doesn't go unnoticed, and we always get to all of them. So thank you very much, and we'll have a new episode soon.
So these particular templates...
Whoa, am I going to have to do a shill alert on the video, on the screen?
You may.
You don't get to use the collab to do shilling for your own stuff. We've got principles.
I understand, but I did get you a set of these.
Okay, I have absolutely no problem with you shilling on this video. I feel like an idiot. I just can't say anything today. My God. Okay, let me try.
You're all right, man. Shit, just let it flow, brother.
It is.
It's 107.
He's hot.
I can even see that I look shiny, right?
Oh, you're shiny. You're always shiny.
My phone is currently leaning up against a frozen bag of carrots because it's it's already given up once because it overheated. Because we've now got to oh, sorry, it's going to work with our necks. Actually, that's just not. I knew you were going to say.